had thought about what we would choose as a theme for the ornament if we were to make an ornament, but we didn't intend to make an ornament, except
in the last minute,
Bye.
somebody just happened to show up at my door.
Jen Chambers from Main Street happened to come take a picture of our holiday ornaments for the harvest, and she says, "Oh, by the way, you guys are making an ornament for the governor's tree, aren't you, for the competition?" And we said, "No, we don't think so." But I guess it stuck in our head 2 days later. The Ashland Theater represents the entire community. It's what everybody's supporting. It's what everybody's been working towards. And it already was something. We didn't need to come up with something new to represent the community of Ashland. The theater does. Alvaro, make the Ashland Theater.
My expression the whole time is nothing can defeat me. So as soon as somebody says, "Can you do this?" I say, "Of course." I turn around, I go, "How am I going to do that?"
But I had confidence that I could do it, but the 48 hours, we only had 48 hours to do it. And we hadn't even decided what it was. We knew it was going to be the theater, but we didn't know what materials we were going to need. We had no finished image in mind. And of course, there's a big responsibility when you're representing an entire community. Alvaro actually started from, he was insistent upon it being sterling silver. So we started from silver. We knew, we agreed upon that. Materials do matter. You know, that in itself makes a statement about a community. Alvaro is melting the sterling silver and pouring it in the ingot. This is the first process. Alvaro, he always challenges himself, so we didn't start with anything already made. He actually took silver, melted it down in a crucible, and in that crucible you'll watch the molten silver, and then he makes the silver into sheets, and that flattens the ingot to get to the width and the depth that he wants to work with. The piece needs to continuously be given heat so that it can continue to work with it. Otherwise it gets too brittle. You can see why in 48 hours this is a lot of stuff to do. We scrounged together whatever components that we happen to have here.
I had to grab anything and everything that I had in my bench in order to create this piece. Unfortunately, I had a lot of things in my bench. So right behind here, I made a track. There is a track all the way down here. So this plate slides from the bottom, and that plate is the one that is holding the stones.
So just like Ashland, it has railroad tracks, and then that plate slides in there because Alvaro, since we didn't really know what it was going to look like in the end, we knew we were going to constantly have to be giving it heat and then, squelching it to cool down. So that piece was going to have to be slipped in and out, especially if we put the crystals on it, because it wasn't going to be able to take the heat.
And that's it. That's the end of it.
The fact that our vista is of the theater is helpful. I can't tell you how many times we pulled up the blinds because it was bad weather. We had that storm that weekend, everything was pouring rain, so we just kept lifting the blinds, looking out. No, Alvaro, I think it's a little bit more this way. And the important things for Alvaro was, of course, the font being very recognizable on the Ashland Theater in the tower, and what is more important than representing the Town of Ashland is the name of Ashland. I go into research, of course, trying to find that font, and it's back from the 40s, and I think it's probably a contrived font. Often neon in signage had a lot to do with the structure of the font. So that was very important. We could not find a font, so actually Alvaro hand-worked and hand-pierced all of the lettering. And that is an incredible time-consuming process just to get that into place. The symbolism, of course, you can see, we start with the bow on the top because the gift from Jean and A.D. Whitaker to the community is where it all began. What we thought was important is to create some of the the things that Ashland is known for. The heart represents the Valentine town, which is the song if you go to the variety show every other year. That's the entire town is in it, and so therefore the Valentine represented, the heart represents the Valentine town. Then if you look next to the heart, Ashland, the center of the universe. For center of the universe, there's a star and a moon. And then Secretariat, of course, very much known to our region and certainly a lot of equestrians here, but Secretariat also was one of the first films after it went from dark to light at the theater again, where it represented the community getting together with a nonprofit organization to show a film at the theater, and therefore it was partnershiping. And then there's the four-leaf clover, our good fortune to have received it from the Whitakers, the future good luck that, that the community would have with the theater. There's the one over in this corner here, which is the first movie that was shown, Sitting Pretty. Sitting Pretty was the first movie shown in the theater in 1948. Foot traffic. I don't know how many times we've talked about the theater bringing foot traffic to the community. And a lot of people have come to the theater and I hear them talk about dating. A lot of them have, you know, we met at the theater, our first dates were the theater, so we put the couple that were, you know, just a little peck of a kiss to say hi and goodbye. The future of the theater, that's sort of what was represented on the back. The theater, the grant to the theater and the hopes for the theater is that it will have a concession, so we put an ice cream cone back there. And then on the other side, the idea of having a restaurant there at some point in the future. So there's a martini glass representing that. And it's just coincidental that red and green is actually the colors that go down in the lights. And it works great for the holiday tree. So we use Swarovski crystals for that, and sterling silver and brass. And even for us, the symbolism of mixing all the metals together and working together in the design is exactly like the community of Ashland. But you should interview Nancy as to when we brought it in. I put it on that
It was
table.
marvelous. That storm was over at Gallery Flux
there.
at the Annex, and you all came in with your umbrellas, and
Oh,
I was
man.
sitting there just anxiously waiting, and then when you unveiled it, it was just absolutely stunning.
We just fell into the chairs at Gallery Flux. It was like, I said, Nancy, we're on time, but could we sit here for a few minutes before we talk?